What's up everybody, welcome back. Today's video, I'm going to be teaching you the origins of the word ghillie, the origins of ghillie in military use, and so much more. But before we get started, can you spot me in these 3 videos I'm about to put up? How about this one? Or this one? How about this one? If the answer is no, you can go watch it back as many times as you like. If the answer is yes, or no either way, then I'm about to show you where I was hiding. There I am. There I am again. And there I am again. The ghillie is rather effective, especially in wooded areas like this. But without further ado, let's get into the facts, and let's get into the origins of the ghillie. Now, what is a ghillie? That's the first thing we should start off with. Well, a ghillie is a 3D form of camouflage that usually you will wear over your body. You can put it over your guns as well. It doesn't really matter. Generally, the whole point of a ghillie is to keep you concealed from other people. This can be made from all sorts of things. From leaves, fake leaves, raffia, grass, dry grass, anything really. Anything that's green and fits in with your environment. Just as long as it looks like your surroundings, then it works. And it can be considered a ghillie. Now, you also don't have to have it made out of leaves and natural things. You can also make it out of plastic bags, which is what one guy that I saw did quite a while back. He used it in an airsoft game, and it worked surprisingly well. Now, old ghillies, very old ghillies, such as World War I, World War II, and even further back, did have quite a lot of problems, such as a lot of problems with snagging. They were not very good with fire, as they could easily catch on fire due to their materials, and a whole lot more, such as being heavy and easy to get wet. However, modern ghillies take all of that and flip it upside down. They don't always get wet because they're usually water resistant. They're fire retardant as well, which makes everything a lot easier in terms of going into hot places. They also hide your thermal signature, which is a very big thing in this day and age with drones and thermal optics. But yeah, there are a lot of good things with ghillies. There are also a lot of problems with them. But in my opinion, the problems are kind of outweighed by the good things, to be honest. Now let's get into where the ghillie was first seen, the origins of the ghillie, and how the word came to be how it is now. The word ghillie is actually derived from a Gaelic word, gille. At least I think that's how it's said. The word gille was used to describe a young boy or man who would serve a chieftain or someone higher in hunting, fishing, and trapping. They would also usually cover themselves in leaves, moss, and grass, etc., just to camouflage themselves to help them at hunting, which explains the most common use for a ghillie at the moment. Another thought is that it comes from the mythological creature known in Gaelic folklore, or I think it's just Scottish folklore, named the ghillie dhu. And I'm sorry if I've gotten that horribly wrong. Please correct me in the comments. But it is a fairy that covered itself in moss, grass, and leaves to stay camouflaged. This even further tells us about why ghillie has come to be a word associated with moss, grass, leaves, and being camouflaged in general. It's from all of these olden terms in just Gaelic words and Scottish words in general. Ghillies were first used by Scottish gamekeepers in the 17th century. They were mainly used to try and help catch either poachers or just hunt animals in general. So ghillies are actually really old in terms of the word, not only the word, but also when they were used and how they were used as well. They had quite a lot of different uses, especially compared to today as well. But I think now we should get into the first military uses of the ghillie. Starting off with, the first time ghillies were really used in the military, it was during the Second Boer War. Once again, please correct me if I've said that horribly wrong. And it was used by the Lovat Scouts of the British Army. The actual war lasted between 1899 and 1902. And that was really when they were first used. Now, they were used by the Lovat Scouts when the Lovat Scouts decided to take their prior gamekeeping skills and put them into the war itself by creating these third-dimensional camouflages to use on the battlefield. Now, they were mostly used for things like reconnaissance and stalking of the enemy, just to get information on what they're doing. In World War I and World War II, camouflage for soldiers became a lot more important, involving new camouflages such as green, and a little bit more green. But ghillie suits still remained uncommon. Now, why was this? This was mainly due to the points that I referred to earlier. The fact that they're just too heavy, they're hard to make, and they're hard to retain. They also get wet really easy and aren't very good with fire. That's the main reasons that they weren't really adopted by the everyday soldier. However, they did of course see use in so-called specialised units. Now, these were mainly sniper teams, obviously, but also reconnaissance teams as well, which would try to get behind the enemy lines or as close as they could to gather information on what they were doing. Now as we jump ahead in time to the Cold War, armies all around the world started using these ghillie suits and started teaching their soldiers how to create them. This was a part of the sniper reconnaissance thingy-majig. I can't remember what it's actually called, but yeah. This was a part of the sniper recon training. Well, some examples of this are things that you've probably already heard. For example, the British SAS, the Royal Marine Corps, and the Russian Spetsnaz. I think we all know them. How have ghillie suits intervened with pop culture and added more to how we see them and how they work? Well, let's get into it. First off, ghillie suits can be used by the everyday civilian no matter what they want. You can use it for hunting, you can use it for LARPing, which is live action roleplay. You can use it for reenactments of things, but you can also use it for airsoft and paintball and recreational purposes. Video games have also influenced it a lot, and I mean a lot. I mean, the average person thinks, oh, ghillie suit, that's awesome, but in reality, they're not always awesome. Then again, they are pretty awesome quite a lot of the time as well. And as seen in a lot of pop culture and video games like COD and Battlefield. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you've got any more facts on how ghillie suits came to be how they are today. Let me know in the comments. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.